What is a brainstorm? It's a method for turning a rather vague topic into something specific that is of interest to your target audience. If this sounds a lot like marketing to you, it should. The idea of the brainstorm originated with advertising agencies in New York. They needed efficient ways to focus their creative energies. They knew what they were selling, their topic. They knew who they were targeting, the people most likely to buy the product. And they knew what they wanted their audiences to do, buy the product. It's not the only way to perfect your topic, but it will certainly get you started. First, remember the 3 W's. Who are you writing for? What are you writing about? And why are you writing at all? Know those before you even begin your brainstorm. Let's start. So, brainstorm. To brainstorm the topic, you've got a couple of methods that you can use. There's more than one way to approach the problem, and really it's up to you which methods you prefer. A lot is going to depend on whether you're doing it by yourself or in a group, or in some cases, just what you happen to have nearby. But Post-its and note cards are a great place to start. Post-its are really good because you can post them up on a wall and you can move them around and you can throw them away as you refine your ideas. And then the note cards are very traditional. Researchers of all sorts have always used note cards. They're great for, cheating on your speech. They're great for organizing your writing. And in this case, you just write down basic ideas on those cards, and you can lay them out on the table and get a good visual view. Remember, the way our minds work is primarily visual. So if we can get a good picture of what we're doing, then we can get to the next step. Notepads and whiteboards are also another approach. They take a little different tact. But a white pad, you can just sit down and you can start scratching out ideas. You can make a list. You can make interconnected bubbles with ideas in them. There's a couple of different ways that you can use a whiteboard. These are all legitimate brainstorming methods. If you're in a group, particularly, a whiteboard is great because you can have one person be the scribe, and they can write down ideas as people throw them up there. So you start by agreeing on a general idea, and then people just start throwing up things, and the scribe makes an attempt to write them down, but also to connect them to one another as logically as you can as you go along. Brainstorm the topic. Who do you want to change? It places the question a little bit differently, but in reality, this is why we write. We want to cause change. You perhaps want your boss to accept a recommendation, or perhaps you just want your teacher to give you a good grade. But it's important to have a clear objective, to be able to know, did my writing work or not? What is the general topic? Your teacher is likely to assign you a topic. Your job is likely to create topics for you to work in, whether you're some type of professional or whether you are engaged in your own business. There's going to be areas that you focus on, and then you want to make them better. There's going to be people within your organization or outside your organization that you want to influence, and you need a way to narrow down the topics, and this is where the brainstorm is going to help you, this type of methodology. If this communication works, what will happen? Gets back to the same part of the 3 W's. Why am I doing this? What what do I want to be the result of my communications? If I'm just making noise, if I'm just making letters on a board, it's not a productive activity. But if I'm changing the world in my little piece of the world, then I'm using my time efficiently, and this is an effective writing project. Let's brainstorm the topic. Another name for brainstorming, a slightly different methodology, is called mind mapping, but it works. And basically you start with that main topic, and then you just start throwing out subtopics, things that relate to your main topic that you think might be worth writing about. Don't worry that you're going to have to write about all of them. You're not. But you want to get out as many ideas as you can so that when you do start to make that really hard effort, writing is not easy. When you start making that hard effort, you're going to be focusing your energy and your creative ability on the most effective areas. So when we look at each of these subtopics, we go, well, what kind of facts do we have? What kind of stories do we have? Stories are great ways of influencing people, giving people examples of how something happened. That's a great writing technique. And then examples. And examples may not be a story, they just may be something that illustrates the point that you're making. Do this for each of your topics. Just throw them out there, and the way you will know the right topic is the ones that are easy to come up with facts, stories, and examples to attach to. This is the process for a short essay, introducing yourself. We introduce ourselves almost every day, in person and in writing, yet most people don't do a particularly good job of it. This is your opportunity to perfect something that may make the difference in your next university or work application. Basically, a short presentation about who you are and what you do and why someone should be interested in what you're doing. For any other topic, for any other audience, or for any other purpose, the process is going to be very similar. The first three questions, again, who is your audience? Let's say it's your classmates. What is your topic? You. Or the you want your classmates to know. What is your purpose? In this case, it might be to demonstrate your mastery of English. In the future, it might be to impress a potential employer. Let's begin. Okay, so our topic is, who are you? We're going to brainstorm it. Oh, exciting. All right, let's come up with some. These could be cards. These could be bubbles on a piece of paper or on a wall. Just any of those methods are going to work effectively. Pick one, go with it. Fears. Fears is, we are all shaped by our fears. Is your fear the most important thing or one of the important things in your life? Well, I don't know. We'll find out when you try to come up with ideas, examples, illustrations that relate to fears. Let's look at some other possible subtopics for who are you? Experiences. What have you done in life? If you're not, 3 years old, you may have done a lot of interesting and exciting things. Family. How do you feel about your family? How has your family shaped who you are? Ambitions. What does the future look like? What do you want to be in the future? Where do you want to be in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 20 years? What are your long-term goals? They are very important in shaping what you do right now. Education. What education have you had? What education do you intend to get? How do you feel about education? Maybe you want to be an educator. Work. What kind of work do you do? Is that relevant to who you are? I used to deliver papers. I used to pick blackberries and sell them. Not very relevant to most of my work now, but, well, I taught in Bulgaria. I taught in the Philippines. I've taught online to many of the countries around the world. So my educational work may be relevant to understanding who I am. Home. We can look at home as where you live. Maybe you have a really tremendous building that you live in on the side of a hill with a beautiful view. Or maybe it's your town, or maybe it's your city. Maybe it's the people that make up home. Start writing, see what happens. Philosophy. Philosophy is, well, not for everyone, but if you have a particular view of the world, if you have a particular way of looking at things, that may be important to your audience. If it's an audience that is interested in your philosophy, then you definitely want a paragraph about that. Concerns. Concerns, a little different than fears. Concerns could include things like your worries for other people. Fears are generally what we're worried about happening to ourselves. But concerns are things that could go wrong, things could go right, things that need focus. Depending on who you are and what your goals are, concerns could be important. How about travel? You a traveler? Do you want to travel? That could be an important part of who you are. Interest. We all have interests that go beyond our academic or our professional endeavors, things that are just kind of ours, things that we do not so much to be productive or to earn money or to obtain prestige, but just to have fun, just to pass time in an enjoyable way. What are your interests? So, how do we take a dozen subtopics and turn them into something you can use? Who are you? That's the subject. We're going to organize your brainstorm. We need to find the best supporting facts and get them arranged. So, what did we come up with? We looked at fears, experiences, family, ambitions, education, work, home, philosophy, concerns, travel, our interest, and perhaps, there's a card with other things on it that aren't envisioned in this example. Only you know the subtopics that work for you. So we take a look at them. And in this case, I'm looking at it from my perspective. So I go, okay, family, pretty easy for me to write about family. Work, okay, got a lot of work experience. I can write about work. Education, yep, a lot of different kinds of education. And I've got a few interests, so I'll throw those in.